hey, y'all, it's your girl, Lizzie Yayo, forever keeping in the bando with the Hype Magazine. And on today, we have the legendary Master G. Master G, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. Thank you. Thank you. So, may
Yes,
you tell us who you are and what it is that you do?
sure. So I am the founding member of Sugar Hill Gang. Sugar Hill Gang being the first commercially successful hip hop group ever. We're the first to go platinum. We're the first to tour the world. We're the ones that brought hip hop music to the human race. And we're not the ones that started it. We're the ones that brought it to the world. It was started in the South Bronx in the New York metropolitan area. Shout out to all of the, founding fathers. But yes, we are the ones that made it world famous.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that and opening doors for so many. May you tell us how that got started?
Yeah, well, I was DJing doing parties in the New Jersey area, northern New Jersey area, and there was a woman named Sylvia who was a producer. She had like an R&B career, and she also produced a group called The Moments, and she had a studio in my neighborhood. And she went to a party and heard somebody rapping, doing the same thing I was doing at parties. And she got the idea because at the time, nobody had recorded it. It was only being done live in parties. So she had the idea because nobody else had done it to put it on the record. So being the fact that she was living in New Jersey, she looked for people in our town. So my friend uh, I was walking down the street with a friend of mine. He knew Miss Robinson, which is Sylvia. And she told him what was going on. I auditioned in basically in front of a pizza parlor. And then, Mike came up later and Hank was, while she was in front of the pizza parlor, she was uh, auditioning Hank. She didn't want to choose between the three of us, so she put the three of us together. So that's how the Sugar Hill Gang was formed. Under Mike, Big Bank, Hank, and me, the Master G.
Yes, that sounds amazing. Now, was that something you were just open to do, being that you were coming by yourself?
So, the whole idea, again, that's why I try to explain to people about us being the absolute first commercially successful group. There was no blueprint for it. Like, nowadays, nobody really can imagine a world without rap music. Nobody can imagine a world without people aspiring to be, rap stars or be a producer or, I mean, something to do with that. But before Rap is the Light came out, nobody was even thinking that way. Everybody was thinking about doing other things. If you were going to go into music, let's say you were going into music to be a singer or a musician. If you're going into, acting, you weren't going into acting from an access of rapping. You were going to be an actor. So my thought process at that time was to go to the military. That's what I was going to do. I was 17 when I recorded Rapper's Delight. I was in my junior year in high school, going to my senior year. I was going to go finish school and then go into the military. I was DJing just for extra money in the neighborhood, So it really just kind of was a perfect storm. I had no idea that this was going to be my life. Somebody would have told me when I was 17 that, people would consider us an iconic, legendary group, and we changed the face of music and all of that, I would have told them they were crazy.
I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Especially with what you were trying to go do. Normally, we tell our kids right away, hey, after high school, you're going to the military for
Right,
for security
right,
purposes.
right. Military, college, something like that. So that was my game plan. I wasn't going to go to college because I wasn't really set up for it. But my game plan was to do something. I wanted to make my mother proud, so I thought military would be it.
Well, I know you made her proud with your decision.
She might be cool. She might be cool with what I've done with my life.
Can you how does it feel to know that hip hop is a culture that you help shape? Like as far as the various aspects of life with jewelry, the fashion.
It's unreal. I mean, you don't know history is happening when you're creating it. So, what's happened to me is that over the years, as this thing continues to mushroom and explode and blow up, I talk about this on stage. I explain to people that, we are the first commercially successful group. And, at one point, it was just Mike, Hank, and myself. We were the only people on the radio. We were the only people, known worldwide. And now there's not a place on the planet that you can go to. It is not somebody doing something connected to rapping. So, it becomes something of an epiphany to me every time and every day that I'm living. It's like more and more it becomes to me. It becomes wilder that what we did has become this amazing. Like I said, it's a multi-billion-dollar situation. I might have had something to do with it.
Right. And the fact that now people they just go upload it, upload whatever they want to do, and it's so easy. It's an easy access. What is your thoughts about that with the society today?
I believe that nothing stays the same. Everything changes. So society is based on technology and based on more people with initiative and ideal. So you go from when I started making music, you made a record, vinyl. That was the deal, and then it evolved. So it was records and cassettes and that kind of thing, and then it went to CDs, and it's just evolution. Evolution is a direct result of progress, and that's what's going on. So as far as what I've considered, now that it went from hard actual substance to the electronic and digital world, I think it's a natural progression.
Mm. But it's like real easy for people now.
Oh,
Not
much
as
much easier. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the access and the invent of the cell phone and internet, computer, and that whole thing, we're in a modern age of technology. So whereas I would have to physically walk to the store to get the latest Sugar Hill Gang record, let's say, or the latest Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five song, now you can literally do what you're doing right now and push a button, and that
Yep, that is
again, that's technology.
that's right. Can you share your perspective on how your era marked by songs like Cruise Groove and Breaking It influenced not only music but also contributed to the emergence of the distinctive culture and fashion movement, including the iconic styles seen in movies?
Um, Organically, in every form of life, you're going to have interpretations, and I think that based on the energy that comes from the music that we create, it ignites ideals in people, and that ideal doesn't always come out for me. It comes out lyrically, or it comes out musically, from that, or it comes out from a business standpoint. I've been very successful at building businesses. One of the reasons why we're even connected is that I know that I built a business many years ago. It translates to people different ways, so that's what happens. So let's say I'm a person that's into clothes, and now this music is affecting me. Well, from what I hear out of the music, I come up with a shoe, or I come up with a sneaker. The other person might be a producer. He might hear it from notes. So I think it's just the way that it affects people. The outcome is whatever it is that translates to them, creatively.
Right. How do you perceive the evolution of hip hop lyrics from the early days, like Rapper's Delight, to the lyrics in today's hip hop? And what are your thoughts on the changes in content, style, and messages over the years?
Again, I'm a firm believer in the music speaks to whatever it is that's going on. So when I first started making music, you only allowed to say and do certain things on a record. You couldn't say a curse word when I started making records. I got a record, it's called Eighth Wonder. We say, let's scream, let's shout, let's turn this function out, keep it on, but you don't quit. Let's make this party to shore. Now the lyric is SHIT, the shore shit, but you couldn't say that. We had to bleep it out. You know what I mean? If you listen to the Isley Brothers, they had a record, and they had BS, the curse word BS in it, but they bleeped it out. You roll the script now because again, accessibility and entitlement to knowledge and information changed the nature of everything. Television, everything changed, so it became much more available. So again, it's more available, so people say more. People can express it in a more detailed way, and that's what you hear. So that's what happened with the lyrics. The lyrics just it's not different. It's just you could say more. People have been thinking about everything that's talked about now since time began. You just couldn't say it on the record or on television.
Hmm. How did the international reception of Rapper's Delight in countries like UK Canada, and others impact you? And what was the experience like knowing that your hit resonated with the fans globally?
Again, I'm a guy that was born in New York and raised in the New York metropolitan area. I tell people I was born on the raised on the George Washington Bridge, because my mom's folks were from Brooklyn and my dad's people lived in Mount Vernon, and we lived in a place called Teaneck, New Jersey, Bergen County. So my whole life I spent across the bridge, and so my experience for rap was, it was a New York, New Jersey thing. I was like, okay, this is what's going on. Then the record came out, and then I started seeing it hit domestically, and I was like, okay, cool. But then I did go to Europe, and I was in the UK, and I saw the fact that it translated everywhere, because it affected people in an organic way. And if it was working in the States and it was working on a street level, I wasn't surprised that it worked other places, because there's young people in every part of the world, and young people are connected to what it is that's popping. And that's the thing, when we first started making music, because we were the first to bring the art form, it was like a new thing in every aspect. Um, so I wasn't shocked. It was just a pleasant, I was happy. I was glad.
Yeah, I totally understand that you weren't surprised at
No,
something new.
no,
You're like, oh, they know this is new.
they
Everybody
get
wants
it.
to be in, so
They
it's got
get
to
it.
go everywhere.
They get it. Yeah. And it worked. It was good. It was good music, good music. It was a good, the presentation of it was good, so what's good is good. You can't ignore what's good. A hit's a hit.
Right. Were you the first hip hop group to achieve platinum or group? Well, yeah, I know you said it, but this question is coming from the audience
Okay.
in
That's cool.
particular.
Yeah,
Were you the first hip hop group to achieve platinum or gold status?
absolutely. We're the first to do everything. Anything you think of, we're the first. So to the people that are asking the questions, first to go platinum, first to go gold, first to tour the world, first to be on television, first to make, serious money. We're the first, period. Yeah.
Period.
Period. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can you share the story behind the creation of Rapper's Delight?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Miss Robinson, she's no longer with us. As she started looking into the aspect of rapping, she started, enlisting the people that were around us. So she talked to a DJ that was DJing in our neighborhood. And that summer, the summer of '79, the break beat of the summer was Good Times. So, of course, what you do is you take two records and you take the instrumental part of a record and you extend it by bringing it back and forth throughout the turntables with a mixer. The main reason to do that is so that an MC could rap over it without having to deal with the words of a song. So the DJ told her that's the break that we use. So she went to the studio, her studio, and she had studio musicians. There was no sampling then. That's the other thing too. In 1979, there was no such thing as sampling. So Rapper's Delight was recorded from scratch. That music was recorded by musicians. So she had them go in there and record it, like the DJ said, just the music, not the words. And so from that point, the ideal of the three rappers came because initially she was going to use one person. The one person turned her down. She didn't want to choose between the three of us. So she said to put the three of us together. The words of Rappers Delight came about because you had three different individuals' interpretation of what they wanted to say. So, like, for example, with Mike, he wanted people, because he was going to be the first person that they heard, he wanted people to get an idea of what was going on. So that's why you hear what you hear is not a test. So because it's, you're hearing it for the first time. What are you doing? I'm rapping to the beat. Well, who are you? Well, I am Wonder Mike. Well, what are you doing? We rapping to the right, the black, the brown, the purple, and the yellow. But first, we got to bang, bang the boogie. So now he says, okay, you heard him and you got it. But now I got a couple of other people with me to help me do this. So next on the mic is Hank. Now Hank gets on and he does his thing and says what he has to say. Well, from my position, during those days, there was no such thing as a video. So the way that I heard raps was like an author writes a book. And the way you write a book is you use words to describe what you want a person to see. So if you're writing this, if you're reading a story, you can look, the words say she had beautiful cornrows and a hat, and she had beautiful brown eyes, and you can see that, by the words. So we're talking about you, let's say. So in my thought, I said, okay, the way that I'm going to let people know when they see us, the difference is by spelling out my name. So who am I? I'm the MAS. I'm the TER, the G with a double E. I go by the unforgettable name of the man they call a Master G. Now, the rest of this part right here was a lie. My name is known all over the world by all the foxy ladies and the pretty girls. That wasn't true. I'm going down in history as the baddest little rapper that could ever be. Now, we made it true later on. Yes, I've been quite known by quite many beautiful women, but it wasn't the case at the time. But that's what it was all about. So the whole concept of us was just to display our personalities through words.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. History, history, history. I love it. Um, what inspired the name Sugar Hill Gang?
So again, go back to Miss Robinson. She was raised in the Harlem area. In Harlem, there was an area called the Sugar Hill District. So it's where all the high profile people back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, that's where they lived. And that was a fond area. She wanted us to be considered as a regal group. And so Sugar Hill was a name that meant, royalty, regalness. It meant high lifestyle. So that was her idea to call us the Sugar Hill Gang. The gang part I was a little iffy on because at those times I was like, ooh, I don't know if my mother's gonna let me be part of a gang, you know.
Oh,
But she was cool after she got it. But yeah, Sugar Hill Gang, that's what she came up with the name.
okay. How did you approach the early days of hip hop considering that it was emerging?
Uh very carefully, very carefully. Uh, you know, um, Everything was new, so there was no blueprint, there were no guidelines, there was no one to advise us. Um, so we really kind of were going. It was trial and error. If the best way to describe it is trial and error. Some things I figured out early, some things it took me time to figure out. Fortunately, it all worked out in the end. But yeah, trial and error. That's how I approached it.
Okay. Are there any memorable moments from your time at Sugar Hill Records that stands out to you?
Yeah, recording the records. Like all the recordings, all the time. Everything we ever cut there. The sessions were very memorable because I really enjoy creating. So for me, the experience of this whole thing is the actual uh, creating the music, creating the work, performing the work, presenting the work. It's never been the notoriety or the celebrity aspect of it. Of course, financially, you want to be compensated for what you do. So yes, I'm not going to say that's not cool because it is very. But the essence of what really made it an amazing, and still to this day makes it an amazing concept, is the creating of the music and then the presenting it to the public.
Can you discuss the influence and legacy of the Sugar Hill Gang on hip hop's culture?
Well, yeah, I mean, everything has a beginning. Everything has a starting point. And taking myself out of the equation, let's say I was somebody that started doing it now and to look back and see, Michael Wright and, his stateliness and, his lyrical thing and, Hank's bravado and his, party racket. And then, you got the young guy that appealed to the ladies and was, kind of like a smooth dude. I hear a lot of people talking about because, the young Master G and the old Master G, they're similar, but they're not the same. So when I say the young Master G, I hear a lot of people talking about the young Master G. And because I was around the same age as everybody that was listening to it, because Mike and Hank were both older. Mike and Hank were in their 20s. I was 17. So I was really right there in that sweet spot with most of the, public that was getting it. So I appealed to a lot of the dudes because they like my style. And then, of course, I appealed to the ladies because they like how I sound. And then eventually when they saw me, they thought I was attractive. So that's our influence. You can pick from out of our situation, out of the music that we created, what it was that you wanted to build off of, and what it was that you wanted to be like. We were fortunate enough to not to come from a bad situation, so we were able to translate in many different areas. We performed in all over the United States, different parts of the world, so many different people got a chance to physically see it as well as hear it. And all of those factors contribute to the influence of so many different people. I've heard stories from Ice Cube. I've heard stories from Shock G. I've heard stories from so many different individuals that are making music today that tell me, like the first time they heard Eighth Wonder, the first time they heard Apache, these songs are songs that they heard, and that's what said to them. LL Cool J writes in a book, he said, when he heard us, that was what, gave him the inspiration to, do what he's done. And we all know what he's ended up becoming. So our influence is heavy, yeah.
Yes. Can you share any upcoming projects or collaborations with the fans?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We're working on a new album, and we've got some amazing people that have, signed on. We got possible chance to do some film stuff. We got some things going on in the works there. I do a Sirius XM show, Master G Theater. It's on Sirius XM 141, and comes on Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays. I'm the executive director of the National Hip Hop Museum here in the DC area, and we're creating a phenomenal hip hop experience that's going to be, for everybody for many, many years to come. We're doing things and making things happen on a daily basis. You got to go to @Master G Sugar Hill because I finally decided to do Instagram, so that's cool. Yeah, there's something happening there. And then we're on the road regularly, constantly. I mean, everywhere, all the time. We're somewhere. We just did the Chicago Bulls. They did a big celebration to 50th anniversary. So we just did the Chicago Bulls United Center. We just performed there week before last, and we did. We have MTV Unplugged. They did a New Jersey hip hop performance that's coming out. Actually, it'll be out this week, December 15th. Actually, Queen Latifah, Wycliffe, Poor Righteous Teachers, Redman, and us. We're doing that. We did that. It's coming out. It'll be actually airing December 15th. So we got a lot of good things coming up. And then next year is the 45th anniversary of Rapper's Delight. So you can look forward to seeing a whole lot more things there too.
That is so awesome. Can you tell them where they can find this information to stay up to date with what you have going on?
Yeah, so you can, like I say, go to my Instagram. It's @Master G Sugar Hill. Follow me. Everybody, follow me. That's what my people tell me to tell everybody. So
Right, that's how it goes. That's how it
right,
goes.
right. Follow me. I was like, yeah, hit me up. No, they're like, no, G, don't hit me up. Follow me. I was like, okay, so yeah, so follow me on Instagram, and you'll see, upcoming, events, things that we're doing, and then you can go to Sugar Hill Gang live, Sugar Hill Gang Live, and you can see, upcoming shows and things that we're doing, and then the Real Sugar Hill, the Facebook page, and all of that. So yeah, we're out there, we're available, we're accessible.
Okay. Hey, also, can you give some inspiring words for people that are up and coming?
Sure. Um, Talent with no team is no talent. This is a thing I really work to explain to people. So the important thing to do is find people to do things that you don't do, and then embrace those people. If you're the creative person, that's fine. Find people that can manage and negotiate and navigate your properties, your intellectual properties, and just always understand if you don't stand for something, you'll go for anything.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Master G. You are amazing. I'm excited. Hey, I'm so happy that I connected with you.
This is all good.
Whenever the show come out, maybe we can connect again and we can talk about that
Absolutely.
then.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Until next time.
Absolutely. Have a great day. All right. And peace
You
to
too.
everybody. Peace and love to everybody. All right, y'all.